Hello, and today I'm going to go over the car maintenance 13 example and show you all the steps you need to take in order to convert your JDBC project over to use JPA. Okay, so the first place we need to start is with the libraries. Um, obviously, you should already have the MySQL JDBC driver from the previous week. Um, but in addition, you're going to need the JPA 2.1, and the one that comes with Netbeans is the Eclipse Link one. Again, the way you add is in the library folders, you want to say add library, and then the Eclipse Links JPA is this one. And then if you don't have the MySQL JDBC, there you go, MySQL JDBC driver. So those are two libraries that you have to add, and of course also the JSTL 1.2.1 if you don't have that one already. Okay, the next step is your configuration file, and the big thing is that persistence.xml file. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Open it up to source, and it should look like this. And the main things to make sure you have are these properties and the persistent unit name, and that's got to match what's in the other class file that we'll show you in a bit. And the way you create the persistence.xml is, again, um, if you right click new other, and then if you click on persistence unit, click next, and then just follow the instructions to create it. Okay, so once you are sure that you have your persistence.xml all set up, the next step is just to make sure you make the changes to your Java class files. The first change you need to make is you have to add the connection manager. And again, the code's in the book for this. Um, but oh, you know what? This is the wrong one. Not the connection manager. You want to add dbutils. So you want to add the dbutil class. You have to make sure that the create entity manager factory method, you pass it the same persistence unit name that you have in your persistence.xml. So this name and this name has to match. Again, this thing is all from the book, so you can just copy the code from the book or copy it from my car maintenance project. Okay, then the next step is really just creating your changing your DAOs to use JPA rather than JDBC. And a lot of them, you'll either have a query of some sort like that, or well, these all have queries here. And then the other thing you have to make sure is the classes for each of your tables is set up. So we'll start with the user class because I think this is the one that everybody should use. So for the user class, pretty much everything pretty much stayed the same. The only thing is you have to indicate what the ID is. And here we also have a couple of an easy constructor that takes in all the properties, and then all the getters and setters for those. Okay, and then you have to just identify which is the ID and which is the generated value. So the other thing you also have to do is in your SQL file, again, I'll show you how this all maps together. So here's the user table. So notice the table name is user, and that matches the class name. So the table and the class name have to match. The next thing you have is here you have user ID, username, etc. And you notice the names there all match too. User ID, username, email, first name, last name, and password. So these all match also. And obviously here we have the user ID, set the user ID as the primary key. Okay, so whatever you name the properties here have to match the columns in your table here. And then here we have just the insert statements. And again, that's true for all of these. If you have make, you have make ID and make name. And if here's this is state, here's make. Yep, you have make ID and make name. They all match. So the table columns and the table names all have to match how they're declared in the files here. The next step is just we'll take the example of the user DAO. And these DAOs just have different methods for manipulating. This one has a method for inserting a user. This has a method for finding by username. And then this one tells you whether it exists. So the insert user really uses the persist method on the entity manager to insert the user object. And then this is just a query that goes ahead and queries by username. And I think that's it. Everything else should remain the same in your servlets. You're just calling the DAOs to do all your transaction in there. And I think that's it. In some ways, this is probably a lot easier than JDBC because it cuts out a lot of the different steps. And that's it. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can schedule a WebEx of some sort if you need to. All right, thanks.